Yes, we thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256. In this video, we want to discuss the Magna Carta that is under constitutional history, and the topic is an idea of a constitution. When you hear an idea of a constitution, let me break for you. For the subtopics which are under the topic called an idea of a constitution. Under there, we have the Romans, we have the Greeks, the ancient Greek, the ancient Roman, we have the French Revolution, we have the Magna Carta, we have the Medina Charter, we have the Egyptian Mud, and all those. They are in the topic called an idea of the constitution. And this now becomes the first topic when you get to the law school under constitutional history. And it's not a topic by mistake, okay? So in this video, I'm going to show you when they ask anything that I have mentioned under the topic called an idea of a constitution. When they ask any question from there, what do they expect you? And we shall give the first example about the Magna Carta. We shall discuss the Magna Carta for you to appreciate what do the examiners, what do your lecturers intend you to answer when a question arises from a topic called an idea of a constitution. First and foremost, let me give you a brief history about this paper. This paper is called Constitutional History. In other words, we are tracing the constitution, the history of our constitution in Uganda. We are tracing the history of our constitution in Uganda. In other words, we're saying that look at those ideas which were there a long time ago. Do you see any idea that existed at the time, for example, under the Magna Carta, under the French Revolution? Do you see an idea at the time that existed that if you look at it today, it manifests in our constitution? So we are saying that the articles we have in the 1995 Constitution of Uganda, where could we have gotten these articles? Is there a leakage between the articles we have in our constitution and the ideas which existed long time ago? So your role as a student is to look at those different topics, the ancient Roman. What were they advocating for? So whatever they were advocating for, you relate it. Do we have any idea that they were advocating for in our constitution? Let's look at the French Revolution. If you look at the French Revolution, whatever happened in there, taxation, land issues, the Catholic Church, and all others, do those things manifest anywhere in our constitution? So we are tracing the history of our paper. Okay, now that's the topic, an idea of a constitution. So before we go into the Magna Carta, I want to ask you to double check if you have subscribed. If you have not yet subscribed, kindly hit the subscription button and you follow all these series of education, series of discussions, series of learning that we bring unto you every other day, every other week on Law School Made Easy. And also we ask you to double check on the other channel that is called Voices of the Bar and confirm if you have subscribed. So let's now deep dive straight into the Magna Carta. In 1215, on 15th of June, there's a charter which was signed, and this is the Magna Carta. It was signed by King John at the time, but it was forced unto him by the barons. The elites of that time forced him to sign this document. Now, this document, the word Magna Carta means great charter, means a great charter. So he signed this Magna Carta, and it became the first legal document in Europe. The Magna Carta is the first legal document in Europe. This is the first thing that resembled a constitution, a legal document to be followed. And it was signed simply because the kingdom had usurped all the powers. Okay? The church had come into the politics, the kingdom, and the king thought they were above the law. And now the Magna Carta came to check on the powers of the king and also to relieve the people at the time. So what are some of the terms of the Magna Carta, the things which were in the Magna Carta. Number one, before I even go to that, as we discuss these topics, especially the first topic, it is an idea of the constitution. So, like, I'm going to discuss the terms of the Magna Carta. Even the Medina Charter has terms. So those terms are the ones we are going to look at and we relate to our constitution. The Greek, the ancient Greek, the ancient Romans, they all have terms that they developed around. So we look at those terms and we relate them to our constitution, saying that it is possible we could have picked all the articles we have in our constitution from the formation of the Magna Carta. And among the things, the Magna Carta, now we can go to the terms. Among the things the Magna Carta was fighting for or calling for, number one was fair hearing, fair trial. They were saying that when people are arrested, remember at the time we had the writs, and if you committed a crime and that crime was not already stipulated, you would not have a cause of action. Of course, when you get to second year, you discuss tort, the history of tort, feudal society, and others, you begin to appreciate. But what we're saying that they were agitating for fair trial. There should be trial accorded to everybody, free trial. If you commit a crime, you have access to an attorney, you have access to the what you have done. You must be told what you've done, and then you're given time to respond. So this idea was created during the Magna Carta of fair trial. There should be fair hearing. And therefore we're saying that in our constitution today, what looks like fair hearing? Is it possible the framers of this constitution, our constitution in Uganda, could have picked the idea of fair trial from the Magna Carta and put it in our constitution under Article 28 that talks about fair hearing? The whole Article 28 is dedicated to fair hearing. So this is how we try to relate to the constitution the different terms of the Magna Carta. Number two, the Magna Carta was agitating for liberty of people. Let the people have liberty free, okay? Don't just arrest them, okay? Let there be liberty, okay? So we are saying that if the Magna Carta at the time in Europe was agitating for liberty of the people, so which article of the Constitution today that the framers of our Constitution could have picked from the Magna Carta, and put in our Constitution, fighting for liberty? Article 23 talks about people's liberty. The whole article is dedicated to liberty. So we are saying the framers of the Ugandan Constitution could have picked this from the Magna Carta. The other very important point of the Magna Carta, it was addressing the overtaxation that the kingdom and the King John at the time were overtaxing the people. Okay? Overtaxation. So they were saying there should be equality in terms of taxation and the like. So we're saying that which article in the Constitution talks about taxes? So we say it is possible the framers of our Constitution could have picked the idea of taxation under Article 152 of the Constitution from the formation of the Magna Carta. The other provision of the Magna Carta was the writ of habeas corpus. The habeas corpus was now introduced, okay, that produce or release him, dead or alive. This is a principle that when somebody gets lost, the High Court writes informing them, you apply to High Court, and then they release a form saying, release this person, dead or alive, the habeas corpus. Okay? In our Constitution, do we have that article? Yes, we have it. Under Article 23(9) of the Constitution, it talks about some of the inviolable rights that you cannot deny, even under Article 44 of the Constitution, where we have now the derogable rights. It's among those, the right of habeas corpus. So we have in the Constitution, but it first manifested in the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta also, there is a bit of property, the right of people to own property. Let everybody own their property. This is what the Magna Carta was fighting for. And in our constitution today, we have a full article, Article 26 of the constitution, that says everybody has a right to own property. And they have given you exceptions when your property can be taken away. But still they say you must be compensated. You look at that case of Julius or court. Okay, so what we are saying is that the Magna Carta, you discuss the terms, what was the importance of the terms at the time, and do we see those terms being manifested in our constitution today? And that is what we do when it comes to the topic of an idea of the constitution. All throughout, we actually discuss that. So we ask you to concentrate and appreciate the topic, an idea of the constitution. Number one, the moment they put a question to you, asking you to discuss the Magna Carta, after you have exhausted the Magna Carta, you can give the other factors, which is the ancient Roman, ancient Greek, and very many others. We thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256. Thank you. Subscribe, share, like our videos. Until next time, cheers.